This is Bubble Tea Time coming at you with a special episode, awards and playoffs and all that. Super fancy stuff. Let's hop right into it. Let's go with introductions. First, to my right is Mr. Alki, Matt Martinez himself. Hello,
Hello, hello.
welcome
Good to be
back.
here.
It's been a while. When was the last time? When was the last time you were on the show?
Last
Remember?
month actually.
Oh
Last month.
my god.
I know.
God damn.
Had a fun
All
time with
right.
some finals.
The school life.
All right. To his right is Daniel Danz, I don't know, Andrade.
Hello.
Where'd you get the Z from, Daniel?
Uh, Actually, it's a high school nickname.
Oh, not multiple Dans. You're not like Dan number one. There's
No,
Dan's number two in your closet. It's
no.
for a rainy day.
I
All
wish.
right. And then on the bottom row, Elena Chia
That's
Snacks
me.
Endres.
That's
Never seen
me.
you before. Oh no, that's you. That's
I'm
you.
always here, but not.
Yeah, it's my chair, Elena. Why are you taking my chair? All right, and finally, special guest Walker Rito Burrito. I'm not gonna say your last name, Guthrie, whatever. Hello,
Oh
what's up?
Hello,
no.
hello. No one knows how to pronounce my last name. Some
Yeah,
people put
I've
R's in it
Let's
sometimes.
hear it.
This is the first time that even I, his teammate, have seen his face. So, bask in the glory of Walker. Fear
Cyan
me.
God
But okay, but
himself.
how do we say the last name though?
It's
It's
Guthrie.
Guthrie.
Guthrie,
Guthrie?
all right. Guthrie, all right. Maybe we should have asked that. We should have asked that before the
Yeah.
show started. Not gonna lie.
Not very
Um,
professional, Brian.
mm, all right. Let's move on. First things first. Congrats, everybody, on making it through the regular season. It was a packed one. Do we not have a match recap? We don't, right?
No.
No match recap
No.
scheme? Cool. Well, that's all right. Let's just go through the teams. Um, First one, PO versus NBS. Potentially a pivotal game. It ended up not being super pivotal for PO, but for NBS, it was still pretty pivotal. PO ended up walking away with the win. Um, yeah, I don't know. Let's talk about it. Anything from this game? Any of the viewers? I mean, I know two of us were in the game, but anybody have any opinions from the outside perspective?
I mean, it was a fun game to watch. It was
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate that NBS had the last minute substitution,
Mm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
but I think um, PO basically wanted to guarantee a bye, and they clinched it.
Yeah. I think it's still pretty close, even with the sub. Um, I guess the most notable part of this game was the poor Mina DC when she was flanking into the entire team. I don't think either team knew what to do right after that moment.
Yeah, we did panic. It was a set
It was
play
a
with
panic
her
in the
standing on a red
ocean,
ward, and we were like, "Oh no,
panic
not
in
like
the
this."
river.
Yeah,
Honestly, those moments are the ones where I just want to practice slash typing pause as quickly as
yeah.
possible.
Really
Same,
unfortunate.
same.
And honestly, Mina just doesn't talk that much in game to begin with, so we didn't really notice until it popped up on our screens. Yeah, whoops.
Yeah. A little
All
bit
Oh.
right.
awkward to play out from there, but
Elena, it says, Master says, might just
Yeah,
be me, but everyone is super quiet.
super
Pump it.
quiet. All right.
Yeah, super quiet. Pump it. All right. In the meantime, while she pumps the
There we go.
volume, let's talk about the next game,
Okay,
TSC
now.
versus GB. I have no idea. We'll wait for them to comment. But TSC versus GB, where TSC ended up taking home the win. I don't think I was able to watch this one. Was I? I was streaming a different
You're
game while this
streaming
one was
our
going.
game. Yeah.
Right. So I didn't see it. Anybody? Any takers on how this game went? I mean, we'll go with someone that's
Um,
not Matt, and then we'll talk to Matt, I guess.
so I don't think I watched this either because it was right before my game.
Oh
So.
no. All right, Matt. How did this game go? Sure, you could.
So,
Wish you'd have it back, but
so Steven told us a couple days before that he was the best Yone in BTL, and then he ran in a scrim, and then he said, "No, trust me, guys, on this one." So we trusted him, and it was really unlucky because he actually lagged at this one play that could have turned the entire game. But from there, we tried to scrap
Oh.
it back. We actually had some surprisingly good 2v2s bot lane into Nick Mead Zaya, who's really
Mm-hmm.
good. Although, unfortunately, we couldn't put in the work for it because we got too far behind, and they just won it out in the end. Although, all good, lot to learn from, and we're looking forward to our next opponent.
Hey, dude, you still made up a bracket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, upper
Oh yeah,
bracket,
for
baby.
sure.
Important part.
Thank you,
Yeah.
DD. DD are our heroes.
All right. Move on. Moving on to the next game, MBB versus AR. This was a pretty close one too. Um, any words from say let's say an analyst that wasn't Alki since he just talked. I don't know, Mr. Dan Z. How did this game go?
This was very, very strong trend from MBB and a nice comeback win from AR. Like there was pretty much MBB classic getting really ahead and early, and then um, there was a lot of emphasis on AR to pick up shutdowns. And not only that, the shutdowns were picked up, but they all went onto Jack Limestone on Tristana. So that pick just got accelerated to late game way before everybody else.
For sure. Yeah. And I think that in the end, like the MBB comp really wasn't equipped to deal with a super fed Tristana. Um, so yeah, I mean that game was pretty interesting. Like it was MBB doing MBB things and then AR doing AR things. So I think nothing like super out of the ordinary for either team, but pretty interesting result and one that really affected the standings. AR secured the first seed with a win, and then MBB they'd already actually secured an upper bracket slot due to the results of every other game in the week. But they secured the sixth slot to play against TSC. Cool. All right, next match. Let's talk about SB versus Deep Dive, a playoff preview, if you will, because we're about to talk about that matchup once again, and there's a lot of focus on this one. We'll even have spoilers, maybe an extra slide or two on SB versus Deep Dive, the rivalry of the decade. But how did that game go? I guess I'll talk about it since I watched that game. Did I? I have no idea.
Yeah,
Maybe
You
I
were
did watch
you
that
streaming
game.
it.
streamed that
I
game,
was streaming it.
Ryan. Yeah,
Shoot.
you were
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh yeah, it was like Chase and I though, just like solo streaming both games at once, right? Um, I don't even remember how this game went. God dang. I don't know. Rumble got really big, something like that. Oh yeah,
It
that
was
level 1 from Joe. I don't know. There's a lot of things going on. How'd you feel about this game, Dance, when you were playing it? I don't know.
well. I was
Maybe I
not
don't remember it
expecting
as
the
well as I should.
the Rumble Nocturne combo, and then Rumble got really ahead with the first blood, and then was able to just keep coming down bot lane, and we were like, "Oh, it's 3 people. Oh no, it's 4 people bot. Oh no, there's the Nocturne.
Oh
Okay."
no.
It's just like, oh, there's one extra person here. I think we're gonna be okay. Oh wait, there's one that we didn't take into account for, and the combo of Nocturne and Rumble ult with Seraphine ult just was really hard to deal with, and good job on Deep Dive actually like executing.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, this is gonna be a matchup that you see very soon, this coming week as well. So, um, it's an interesting like I don't know turning point for both teams. Like SB has obviously not had the greatest second half of the season, but Deep Dive has actually turned on the Jets, beating AR the first seed, and then beating you guys to have a little bit of a win streak coming into this match. So hopefully we'll see a scrappy one with SB regaining some form. But Deep Dive looks like they're already kind of in the miracle run form that they had last season too in
Yes,
the lower bracket.
Deep
So
Dive classic.
Deep Dive Classic never changes. Finally, we had THD versus EXO. Did I watch this game? I may or may not have watched it. No, I didn't. I couldn't. I played at the same time. So, who watched this game? I don't know. Anybody? I know Walker didn't.
I was
I
watching.
was streaming your game, so
Yeah, I was
It's
watching the
doomed.
more interesting game.
Oh, okay.
oh, shots
Whoa.
fired.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
So, so
Wait. So you're saying you didn't watch this
no, I
game
didn't
then?
watch that game.
Okay. Well, that's awkward.
It's okay. I've
Well,
got it up.
okay. That's fucked up. Well, anyways, yeah. Well, EXO didn't have the greatest time, so it seems, and they finished their season in not the greatest manner. Hopefully, though, against NBS this coming week, they'll be able to find some mojo. They've had some promising, games and experiences. Like their game against AR actually went the distance. They've had a ton of good early games. I'm sure their early game, like goal differential, actually is pretty good. Um, but they just really haven't been able to push themselves across that finish line. So we'll see if they can change that dynamic going into NBS.
Gotta throw a shout out to Offerstein stepping in for Misa while he's in Iceland and coming in strong with a deathless game.
True.
All right. Let's move on to predictions. But before that, we said we had an extra slide or two for deep dive. What I meant was dance stats, dance stats.
Dance, dance.
Let's go, dance
Everybody's
stats.
Alright,
favorite
so-
segment.
For this week, we're highlighting our ADCs in the bot lane. Disclaimer: Savory stats are based off of the games he's played, not to take into account the.
As opposed to games he didn't play.
Yeah, I mean, as opposed to like
Yeah,
taking
yeah,
the entire team's worth of games. And I noticed this error right before we went live, and the vision per minute on Panty is actually slightly lower at 0.4, for something.
Gotcha.
But I think what you'll notice is that they're pretty close in terms of the goal per minute, and one thing to note is that Panty Puma has played a couple more utility picks, including a Karma game, so his damage per minute should show lower numbers compared to Eddie, who we've tried to put on carries and we just haven't been able to execute. But I want to emphasize that I think these players are going to be keys for this coming series.
When you took the kill participation, were you able to like pull it apart from
Yes.
the greater kills numbers, I guess, that you guys had in the first
Yes.
couple of games?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, yeah, I mean it's a pretty interesting like picture we've painted. Obviously, there's some like I mean, honestly across the board, except for like DPM, a lot of things are pretty disparate between the two, and it's kind of a back and forth like little I guess array of things. Like KDA, obviously, Panting Puma has a much higher KDA than Savory, but Savory, I mean, just outputs more damage, straight up per minute, with similar gold per minute values and stuff like that. I think like both these carries have had like up and down seasons, and Savory obviously has kind of got slotted in halfway through the season, in a fresh on a team, never having played on it like a team setting before, lots of growing pains. Hopefully going into the playoffs, we can see those kind of coalesce, and Savory just hops into his rhythm and starts syncing with the team a little bit more, and then hopefully second breakfast will have a late season I don't know, revival, I guess, if you would.
Our second breakfast.
Their
Yeah, second breakfast. Whoops.
breakfast.
Did I not say second breakfast? Whoops.
No,
Second
no,
breakfast.
I meant we'll
No,
have
it's
our
a-
second.
it's a
Your
It's
second
a
breakfast.
pun,
All right,
Brian.
all right, fine. On the other hand, I mean, Panty Puma has, definitely pulled his weight in a ton of these games. His KDA is good, and he's just kind of been, yeah, I mean, he's been playing Jhin in the bot lane as his pitcher entails, had lots of snares to set up kills for his team. And I think, like, as the season's gone on, him and Two Hands and other members on Deep Dive have really started solidifying their gameplay, and it's led to wins, like, against, teams even like AR and stuff like that. So, yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting matchup in the bot lane. Wired and Dan's is also going to be another little highlight piece of that. So,
Oh,
yeah,
revenge.
lots of stuff to watch on there. All right, let's move on.
We're back.
Predictions. There's only 4 predictions this time around, considering there's only 4 playoff matches in the first round. But playoff predictions are the best kind of predictions, so let's get at them. First one is THD versus GB. We've got 3 votes for THD, 1 vote for GB. Sorry for Steven who couldn't make it, and Matt here. We'll have you defend your playoff case in just a second. But in the meantime, let's talk to Walker in his Teletubby outfit. Why is GB going to take home the gold here?
After their victory over NBS, I started to favor GB more and more as the season's going on. Like, I feel like despite them dropping the game versus TSC, they've been on a bit of a surge. And I was really struggling to pick a team here. It was a pretty close one for me. But I wound up giving it to GB just because of that late surge, taking games off of teams like NBS. Before that, they beat Deep Dive. And I just feel like they've got enough momentum going in that they're gonna have a pretty close series, and I barely am edging out GB.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I thought this was a pretty difficult one to predict. I think you're right. GB has been on an uptick, even if that game against TSC was a little bit ill-fated. And I think, there are definitely parts of that game against TSC that might have been like draft related and stuff like that. The Yone pick into Darius late, and like, other factors like that. I'm thinking that GB has a pretty good shot of winning this series. I think I picked THG just because even with Misa out, Offerstein is no slouch in the jungle, and THG has looked pretty dangerous. Limch has been playing at a really high level and can give Steven a run for his money. I think THG just seems like a pretty complete team, but that said, I did have trouble. I had to stop and think for a second who I really wanted to
Mhm.
select here. And obviously my prediction rate hasn't been the greatest, so who knows? Anything's up in the air. Matt, why are you guys gonna take this one and move on to the next round to play against either AR or PO?
Okay, so normally we're not supposed to vote for our own teams, but I actually have another reason why I didn't have anything on there, and that's because I don't know when our game will be scheduled. So if we schedule our game before Misa gets back, I think we might win. You know,
I mean, he's
What
got a
the
whole
heck,
Valorant
man?
tournament to go through, dude.
We
Such a
might
big
win.
tournament to go to. He's not gonna be back. It's
okay,
Offerstein.
He's not
we
coming
win,
back.
we win.
Oh,
There
okay.
we go. We win.
Okay.
Okay, to be a little less memey though, I do believe in uh, Angela and I as a bot lane to overcome the difference in this game. And like I said, like even though I'm memeing about Misa not being there, that is going to make a significant difference because as you've seen in his games, he really gets things snowballing. He really gets things rolling. And then going into the mid lane, I feel like that's where draft can come into play. And if we could just play drafts a little bit better, I feel like that was a big issue in the last game. We could definitely come and make the series significantly closer than what people would expect.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm excited to see GP and MBB both make waves in the upper bracket, considering I feel like both teams might have felt like they're out of it, halfway through the season, 2/3 through the season, but like both teams had a late season surge. Um, and I would be really happy to see you guys, Matt and Steven and Charlie and Co. put together, a deep dive run. I mean, I guess you guys are upper bracket. It's not even a deep dive run, just a run in the
Mhm.
upper bracket to test some of the Titans out there. So. All right, next prediction. Let's go. Let's go. It's TSC versus MBB. We have a 4-1 vote for MBB here, which is
Still
pretty
no watch it,
surprising. I
bro.
mean, interesting because TSC is actually at a 7-2 record, tied with AR and PO for the best record in the regular season. But analysts are predicting the other way around. So we'll go to Matt first because you're the one dissenter. Why do you think TSC
Wait,
is
I'm
going to
just
take this?
curious. Colin voted for every other team, but you didn't vote for this one.
This is on
No, did
MBB.
Colin's on
He's on.
MVB.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I'm pretty
Foolish
dumb. Sorry,
Matthew.
sorry. See, that's just how little attention I pay.
Okay, you haven't
But the
been here
reason,
for much to freebie.
true. Although the reason why I went ahead and picked TC in this one is just because I feel like stylistically it's a good matchup for them. When you're looking at top laner, PJ's proven repeatedly that he's head and shoulders capable of gaining leads and really exploding them into other lanes, along with Nick Mead, who's just super solid. Like you saw him in that last game. The man is really good. But it will definitely be a close game considering the jungle support duo on MBB is really coming together. Power Core and Mayo are getting on the same page, and these carries are starting to come online and actually put out the damage that their team really needed to secure these games. So I'm looking forward to watching this series actually.
Gotcha. And then let's say we'll hit up our guest star, Rito Burrito. Why do you think it's a MBB angle here?
Well, simply, if you just look at the MBB late season surge, like it's hard not to vote with MBB. The MBB versus AR game was really close. Like, it was a nail biter. That game was intense, and they were on a big winning streak. How many games? 3, was it?
Yeah.
3.
Something like that.
They were on a big winning
Yeah.
streak
Yep.
with this
3-game
late.
winning streak against quality teams: PO, NBS, XO.
Yeah, I
Knockout
biasedly
teams.
will like as one of the teams that they took down on their way up. Like, I have a lot of respect for MBB going into playoffs, and I feel like they're one of the stronger teams, despite them having lower standings because of the start of the split. So I had to give it to MBB just for their late season surge and how much better they're playing now.
Heck yeah.
Dan's got any take on this?
I mean, I kept talking to Adam after their first match against TSC, and he kept saying, "I want this game back." Now he's getting it back. He's
Getting
getting
it back.
at least
He's getting
Back.
multiple.
He gets
Yeah, there we
2
go.
games. And
Fancy,
yeah.
fancy. Yeah, Alina,
So
why is this one gonna be easy? GG easy for
The
you.
GG easy. I mean, I think this one It's really the jungle diff. I think I said this for that other game, whatever other game that was, where it was also
Oh man,
jungle
how are you
diff.
gonna do Pope Panda like that?
I'm
Dude, the
sorry,
guy's been
Poe
playing
Panda.
so well.
Dude.
But that's where our strongest spot is, and I feel like every game where Adam's able to get ahead and we're able to move with him, it just makes things so much easier. And then against this team where their strong lanes are in what mainly top and then AD, I think that's really what's going to push us ahead in the series.
I mean, Nick
Gotcha.
Mead though has been tearing it up.
Yeah,
Camito.
I know. I know.
They're smarter than us. They won't give the Nick Meat Zaya. They're bigger brain.
All right. Speaking of bigger brain, oh, I don't know about that, but let's go on to the next series. We got NVS versus EXO, and it's
Oh
ooh, don't put up
no.
the prediction chart. Don't do it. Don't do it, Elaine. Don't do it to him.
Oh no.
Why'd you
Oh
guys do
no!
it to him?
Don't do it! Don't do it!
All right. It's a
It's
six-way
late.
shot for NVS because you put up the slides and I told you not to. Why is NVS gonna win? Actually, you didn't even predict Elena, but let's be honest. Why do you think NVS is gonna win?
I mean, uh, it's kind of tough to vote for EXO after how the season went through, but NBS has been on the downswing recently.
They have been. It's been a
Right,
4-game losing streak, I think.
right. And I guess the good thing, am I supposed to be talking about how NBS is gonna win or how EXO is gonna win?
You're talking about why NVS is gonna win. I
Oh.
was gonna give it to somebody else for EXO, but you know what?
I've got my
Just
EXO
speak
ticket
your mind.
already.
Speak your mind. Speak your mind.
Ooh.
Okay, so this is why. Well, I think this is why the matchup could go into EXO's favor. EXO does still have a pretty decent early game. Probably the second strongest behind ours. They've just had a tougher time of transferring that into actual wins. And with NBS on the downswing, this could be the time for EXO to take their early game and just win.
Make it pop.
Yeah, make it pop.
Yeah, make it pop. Dan's, did you feel the same way, or you know?
I mean,
I
we've got
obviously vote for NVS, but if
yeah.
EXO won, how does that? What does that look like? What's that world? You know, sketch that world out for me.
Aurochs playoff buff. We saw him tear it up
True.
last season, and it's definitely something
True.
that needs to be taken into consideration into the postseason.
Yeah, playoff Timmy is a real thing. We saw it last season in the deep dive. Miracle run through the lower bracket. No, a lot of players around our league have been known for some playoff like shenanigans. Oryx is one of them. The Great Flash, another one in season 5. So yeah, I mean, I do think EXO still has some wild cards, and hopefully they'll whip them out for a surprise win in the lower bracket. But NBS, you know, they want to break their losing streak too. They looked like such a strong team at the start of the season, and even in the games recently that they've lost, like it was a pretty difficult game against them when we played against them. You know, just this week in week 9. I thought they were a really good team. So yeah, I mean, I think it'll be an uphill battle for EXO for sure, but this is their last chance at glory. You know, I mean, unless they win, and then maybe not. So. All right, and then finally, wait, yeah, finally, Deep Dive versus SB, the
It's
run back.
another one.
Yep. Oh, don't do it to him like that. All right, so
He's
5
on
votes
the
for Deep
desk.
Dive. That's messed up. Dan's even here. It's messed up. Dan, why is this? Why are we all totally incorrect?
Good question. I think it's gonna be us learning from our last game and pretty much doing our best to improve from it, and then effectively dissect, deep dive, and try to actually strike a win. I think Will might have some shenanigans in mind. He keeps wanting to play Senna top, despite the fact that I keep telling him no. It's not going to happen, Will. But I think that once we have Jeff back, we'll be able to stream a lot of practice and be able to make it, at the very least, a competitive series. I don't expect this to be a clean sweep.
Either way, hopefully we get a banger here. But yeah, I mean, Deep Dive's on the uptick. SB's on the downswing, but hopefully we can get some reversal of fortune for SB and deep dive. We'll stay on their hot streak and we'll have a really good series between two teams scrapping it out in an elimination match. So
You know,
that's the hope.
I'll go on the SP hype train. I think Dan
Ooh,
and
okay.
Eddie will enter the hyperbolic time chamber for a little bit, come out and just suddenly 2v2 the living shit out of them. You know, Eddie just hits him with the fat Samira ults in both games. They just win. Easy clap.
Hmm. Yeah, I think, SB too, like in the early season they had, their team looked like really cohesive. I think in the last couple of games, something's been wrong with like how they make plays together and stuff like that. And if they can figure that stuff out and like start syncing across the map, link their bot lane in with the rest of the map, I think SB can have a pretty good shot at this one. So here's hoping, fingers crossed, it's a competitive series and both teams really show up. All right, we're done with predictions.
We're done with
Do
predictions.
hop to the standings. Or
Right.
question standings. I
We
don't know which
do
you guys want
have
to do next.
some questions related to
Questions?
matchups and playoffs if we want to do those real quick.
Sure.
Sure, hit me. Hit me.
Let's see. All right. Pentamaster asks, any players in specific that you are looking to step up during playoffs? Also, which of the bottom bracket teams are going to make the run all the way to finals? So I guess let's do the first one. Any
All
players
right.
that we're looking to step up in playoffs?
Let's hit the teams that are playing this week. So ignore AR and PO
Yeah.
players. We can just go by matchup. Like, are there any players in THDGB you think are really gonna like pop off? Or you're looking to like step up to make them, into a really competitive team. I
Expecting
guess
my
let's not hit
boy
Aoki since he's
Nikolai.
on one of them. Hmm?
The
I'm expecting my
Nikolai
boy
pop
Nikolai
off.
to step up.
Nikolai.
Calling him
Yeah,
out now on
you
stream.
Saint Sultan, baby. Um, Yeah, I mean, I do think he will be. It's pretty critical that THD puts together the pieces. I think, in one of their, it wasn't against EXO, but the match before against what, TSC?
TSC.
Yeah, I mean, Nikolai did not have the game of his life in the mid lane. And I think their entire team like felt that. But once Nikolai's getting going, like they have been on a 6-3 record in the regular season, pretty strong record. I think like their entire team surging, is pretty critical to them. So yeah, let's hope Nikolai can put it together. Um, and unlock a new level in the playoffs and push THD forward. Um, cool. What about on GB? Come on, you can't just leave Matt hanging like that.
GB.
Who's gonna say Matt? What the heck? Come on,
I mean,
guys.
I
I
know,
want
right?
to
Messed up.
see.
Lane
GB.
believes in me, right?
I want to see.
Yeah, come on.
I
I'm
want to see my boy
like,
Charlie, honestly.
I want to see
Charlie.
Charlie
Charlie.
pop off.
I
Charlie,
wanna see
aka
Charlie
Diana
pop
I,
off.
One Trick.
I just want to.
Yotes.
One of the lines I love hearing from him is when he's popping off. He's going, "I'm an animal, killing everybody."
Come on, dude. Hey, I was playing a new game today, and Charlie kept making fun of me for dying all the time. So fuck Charlie. Nah, I want to see Aoki pop off, man. That
Hey, there we
Tristana
go.
game you had when Steven was inting his ass off and on Darius, and you guys stabilized the game and let him come back into the game. That's what I want to see. I think that's the Aoki we're gonna get. That's the bot lane we're gonna get. I think GB, once they have like they've shown signs, especially in the win streak, of stability across the map, and I think like um Alki and whoever the fuck your support is, or maybe you go top as Lucian. I don't know, whatever. I think as long as your map is pretty stable across the board and people are kind of dice rolling on what GB they'll see, I think that if they have to think about what GB they'll see, it means that the GB they'll get is a strong, balanced GB across the board. So hopefully, I see, yeah,
Hopefully,
Mr.
fingers crossed.
Alki, tear it up. There we go. All
I'll
right,
try
and
to.
then
We got this.
yeah, wait, what about
Mhm.
players on what TSC MVP?
Okay, we already know what
Any
the
takers?
answer is. It's male.
All right.
it's
All right, Crit Wukong incoming. That's all we got to say about that one. What about TSE players then?
Honestly, I think we've been a little too quiet on Mooney. Mooney's been playing a really phenomenal season, and I think if you can keep it up, it's going to be a
Yeah.
really good series.
Those
We like Sierra.
enchanters.
Mooney and Poe. Poe has been tearing it
Dude,
up.
I will never call him by his full name because he keeps changing it.
I know.
Mooney
One day he's
like.
gonna go Mooney like Yasuo, and we're gonna be like, what
No,
just happened here?
no, 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 no,
No,
no.
no, no.
No. Not waifu
All right.
worthy.
All right. NBS versus EXO. Any players you really you're feeling a playoff surge from on either team?
All right.
Cincy.
Hmm.
Cincy
He's
in the
looking
bot
for
lane
the
from
Cincy
EXO.
Cincy
stand.
carry.
Cincy
Yes.
stand right
Mhm.
here.
The Cincy
Yeah.
Stan.
I
Hey, I'm just
mean,
saying the
Uh,
meta's looking at like, these hyper carries are coming in.
Mhm.
Sherry's champs are getting buffed. The stars could be aligning.
It could be for sure.
I already called out Tim. I gotta call out my other boy Javi,
Okay.
and I think he's gonna, you know,
Hmm.
got some spicy pick.
Nice. I on MBS. I mean, they they've been a team with kind of like a set identity the way through, but I think in the last half of the season, Emprix has really like stepped his game up.
Mhm.
Playing champions like Rumble and stuff like that to pretty good success. Even if their team hasn't like fully put it together, I think that will continue in the playoffs, and I think that that team will be a team that has multiple options for damage, multiple options for carry potential, and I think Emprix is pretty core to it. So looking for Nishant to make a splash in the lower bracket,
Mhm.
and then
NBS
finally, oh, go ahead.
NBS was actually a really strong team when we played against them. Like even though we wound up getting the victory, it was a hard fought game,
Hmm.
and they just make it very hard for you to play the game. They have enough vision control, they have enough setup that I think NBS can do it.
For sure. I think they're a good team for sure. If I had to pick a team that's really likely to make a lower bracket run, I think it's probably MBS if they can discover their early season form. So,
Mhm.
all right, and then finally, deep dive and second breakfast. Who are you guys looking at for overperformers, high performers, improved
I'm actually
players?
looking at Dan's.
Yeah, we're
Dan's
looking
is
at
Oh
Dan's
no,
playoff
Dan's.
buff.
Mhm.
I
Dan's playoff
believe
buff. Oh man. I
Where's
mean, if you saw,
PhD Dan's at? Dan, it's coming.
it's
it's
coming.
PhD
coming.
Dan's won a championship, so it's
HD
coming.
Dance has some crazy ass escapes and tower dives. I remember.
Hmm. It's
Bring it
coming. It's
back.
coming.
Bring it
Yeah, and
back.
then
Okay.
and on the deep dive angle, you guys looking at anybody for some real like playoff shenanigans? I mean, I think the obvious choice is Drew. I
Drew.
think he's
Mhm.
had he's had a pretty shaky regular season.
I mean,
Lots of life stuff popping up for him.
yeah,
But his last game on Rumble was a really strong game, and I think it was the first signs of like, uh-oh, there's the deep dive
that we
lower
wanted.
bracket run.
Mm.
Here we
I
go.
know, right? Like seeing him go from that Nunu game to this Rumble game makes you wonder, like, damn, where does it go from here?
Execute to Dragon will live on
Yeah.
forever in the annals of
Mhm.
PTL history. But yeah, hopefully he imprints himself in a different level too. As a carry in the lower bracket, maybe all the way to the finals. So cool. Any other questions, Elena?
We should go through these fast. We kind of already did this one. Which of the bottom bracket teams are going to make the run all the way to the finals? We thinking
I think
MBS and Deep Dive potentially.
those are probably most likely, but I don't know. If you gun to my head, you picked a most likely one. I don't know, probably MBS. Thought they were a pretty good team when we played them, but
Mhm.
yeah. Um, any other questions?
Let's see. Adam K asked, how big of a deal do we think side selection is? Blue side only has 53% win rate right now. Um, yeah.
I think it depends on the team.
Yeah, I think
I
more
agree.
so this season it depends on the team. I think last season it was like crazy, like 60+% blue side win.
Mhm.
Because we didn't have a lot of teams that could use counter pick effectively.
Mm.
Right.
But now this season we have plenty of top laners that want the counter pick, or we have PO who wants to counter pick for their mid lane. We also
Yeah.
have supports coming up that have a lot of champs where the counter can be pretty crucial.
Yeah, I think, as people's champion pools expand, red
Mhm.
side is more and more viable for us,
Mhm.
for tons of teams that are looking at, ooh, we can exploit a matchup, put a carry on something that they really, favor. Um, yeah, it's something that I think teams are starting to use, and it's starting to bounce out. But, how many games did we play? 45 games or something? It's not the most significant stat, but I don't think that blue side is like overwhelming or anything like that.
Mhm.
I mean,
In
I
this
think
new era of BTL.
the biggest edge blue side can get is depends on how many flex picks you have on your team.
Hmm.
The
So you can,
overlap.
yeah, the champion overlap.
Mhm.
For sure. Cool.
Let's see.
Um,
Guess we have one last quick one about playoff teams from Adam K again. Which series do we think will go to 3 games?
series to
Yes.
three. I mean,
Oh, that,
my
I think
opinion for most likely is NBS TSC. No, MBB TSC. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think those teams are pretty. It'll be a pretty interesting series. MBB likes to give everybody heart attacks all the time. I think this is the perfect, cardiac
Including the
arrest series.
casters.
Yeah, I think this is a cardiac arrest series, and will be a good one for sure. You guys have any other opinions? I think Matt was gonna say something.
Yeah, I'd say that series or our series. Probably
Yeah, I was
mostly
gonna
we go
say
through games.
THC, THC, GB.
GB. Yeah.
I can English.
I was gonna say the same thing actually.
Yeah, both of those series I think should be
Mhm.
pretty close, pretty fun ones.
Okay.
All right, let's move on. Standings, aka
Do
bracket.
yes. Also, I am going to go to the bathroom during this, so I'll be
Goodbye.
back. There you go.
Yeah. So instead of standings, since our regular season is done, we are putting up the bracket. Here's the bracket. It says right now that first seed gets to pick winner A1 or A2. That's something we had from last season, and we're not really sure if we want to maintain it or not. That's something that the council should have to decide. So we'll put that in today. TLDR, we kind of mirrored the LCS format last season, sort of. But we, on the LCS side, we actually took out that piece because it resulted in some unfortunate scenarios where teams would play each other too quickly. Let's say a la TSMGG in summer and stuff like that. So it's something that the council will talk about soon, TM. But in the meantime, there are all your matchups: THGB, TSC, MBB in the upper bracket, MBS XO, and Deep Dive Second Breakfast in the lower bracket. Yeah, I mean,
6 weeks of games, right?
it's gonna be a lot of games. So we dealt with this last season. I guess we thought about changing the format and then never did. Awkward. So we'll revisit that. But we have a lot of goals and stuff like that that we want to hit. So we'll see if there's a format that still hits those same goals in the future. But in the meantime, here it is. Fancy,
Uh,
fancy.
And reminder for team scheduling that you should block out a good chunk of time for your matches. You never know when it's
Right.
going to be a best. Going to go through
Yeah.
games.
Have mercy on those East Coasters that gotta go hella late.
Yeah.
Please.
Does East
All
Coast
right.
even exist?
Oh yeah, we have a good chunk.
Fair, by the way. But all right, let's move on. Moment y'all have all been waiting for.
Oh, yeah.
Surely the all BTL teams will hope open with those for awards. Do. Let's get it.
All right.
I guess as your presenter, we'll go down the list. Yeah, I'll just I'll go through each of the categories, all the winners, and then toss it over to our analysts to chat a little bit about each of these categories. So for the first one, the first team top laner is none other than
Wait, are you
Karasaki
going?
Ace.
Wait, Brian, which way
What?
are you going? Shouldn't you go from
Spoilers. I'm
3 to
going
1?
up and down.
Wait,
No,
shouldn't
oh,
you
3 to
go
1.
3 to 1?
Oh, spoilers, bro. Okay,
What
fine.
the heck?
Third place is
Off,
Limp 96. There we
Wait,
go.
Brian,
Limp
I haven't
96 on
even
THD.
removed it.
ruined,
Am I supposed to wait
Brian,
for you to remove it?
soiled it.
I'm supposed
Soiled
am I,
it.
here,
so
Brian,
you
look.
remove it and then I say it?
Yeah,
All right,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
There it
Okay,
is.
hold
Where's the
on.
big reveal?
There's
Limp
the
96.
reveal. All
Okay, we're
right.
not going to talk about every individual player. I'm going to go
No,
up
we're
and then
gonna
finish
go
top
up.
lane. Then we talk.
Okay, okay.
All right, hit
So
the second one.
second, it's
Second,
PJ.
Love the Warrior on TSC. And then last, I guess you guys never saw this one coming.
It's Steven.
GB Karasaki Ace. All right, analysts, get at it. Get at it. Get at it.
I mean, these are, I feel like, very self-explanatory. I think Limp just had a super solid season, and we all remember his Lee Sin game. Despite Chase and I going back and forth of whether or not it was hype, I felt it was hype. And PJ and Steven have been real big keys to their teams. Each one's being their teams, one of their team's win conditions. And that's pretty much it, in my opinion. Matt?
Yeah. I would actually flip the two and say Plove over Steven after that last game, but it's so close that it's really just splitting hairs. And as for Lynch, I was sold after that leasing game. That was insane, out of his mind. I thought that they should have won that game, and I'm really looking forward to our series to just see how that goes between him and Steven.
Fair.
What they did.
Walker,
That
do you have anybody that you think you would put up here, given your top lane experience, Mr. Jungler?
anybody that I think I really agree with this list. Um, I'm not sure who else I would bring in
Okay.
off the top of my head right now.
Oh, sounds comprehensive enough to me. All right, let's get the jungle going. Go, go, go,
All
Alina.
right, third, we got
Third is
Juan.
AR Man Puppet. Yay.
Yay.
Puppet.
Man puppet.
2, THD Barrock. Woo, THD.
Let's
Yay,
go.
Misa. Iceland. All right. And
And our
number
number
1,
one
MBB
is the
Caribou,
Milwaukee
the artist
Bucks.
formerly known as Hugs and Unicorns. Yay.
Imagine
Caribou
coming back from
formerly
getting
known as Hugs and Unicorns.
snuffed last season
Yeah,
to
I'm sure the story here is Caribou was 1 vote away from the top 3 last season. He's made it all the way to the summit.
let's go.
Discuss.
Um, honestly, I would have
Discuss.
flipped second and third. I think Man Puppet has had such a killer season, and with AR finishing 7-2, I think he deserves some praise. He's stabilized a lot of games for them, making sure that enemy junglers don't just run through them, aka Misa.
He's-
I think Caribou really showed like good performance throughout the entire season, and I'd say just kind of like with top, it's splitting hairs between him and Barrock on number 1 and 2. Although I would like to put an honorable mention to Barry Allen, particularly earlier in the season. The man played really well in the jungle while being off road, and I thought that was like very impressive.
I think my other shadow would go to Emperix. Nishant's been playing so well, willing to bust out the rumble and throw it down.
awesome. All right, mid laners, go, 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 go. Third place is AR Rasco Truck. Second place, Deep Dive Blazon. And first place, NBS Man. No surprise.
Yep.
Discuss.
I mean,
Discuss.
Ginny is the winningest player, and her team's winning. It's clearly showing. And Blazon is somebody who's gonna try his best to be relevant on the team. Like even in Deep Dive's losses, he kept pumping out damage no matter what. Uh, Man himself has probably been like one of the most influential mid laners in this season. Now that Mr. Brian is no longer in the mid lane, but looking at chat, man, I do have to agree. Vid the mid stepping up this season is getting robbed.
Yeah, Vid the Mid had some insane.
Vid the
I
Mid
think
had some
Vid the
good
Mid
games.
is a big honorable mention with those
Mhm.
insane Vagar games, especially. Like the Vagar play was enough to bring back 2 games, was it? I think.
Yeah, one-shotting people on Vigar. Gee, ugh.
Seen that one before. All right, ADC. Third place.
It's
Just kidding. It's a
Brian
tie. It's me.
and
Awkward.
the Nick
Second
Mead.
place. Tie. Another tie in ADC. Actually, last season we also had a tie for second in ADC, so that's kind of troll. But and then first place, AR Jack Limestone. Woo! Discuss.
Yeah.
Discuss.
I
I mean,
I
What
feel like
what is it really? Jack Limestone's just head and shoulders such an insane 80 carry. You look at this man, he racks up all the stats you want as an 80 carry. Damage, GPM, CPM, you name it, he's got it.
true. I think I honestly think that it should the Decadonu versus Nick Mead. Nick Mead should have this ahead by a mile. He's been
Wow,
stepping
Dan.
up this entire season and like honestly like been close to unkillable.
I agree. I voted
Sure.
Nick Mead as first on mine.
Nick Mead. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that knows me knows that I don't really like our MVP voting or awards voting. I think it's pretty clicky and ridiculous. And the fact that I played 380C games and tied Nick Mead, who I voted for first too, is kind of ridiculous. So, yay! Don't vote for me. I even said it, but here we are. All right, support.
Third.
Matthew
Bye.
XD, yeah, that guy. Woo! Second
Double
place.
XT. I love that guy.
AR Tactical Gazelle. In first place, you'll never guess this one.
Where's
MVP
the
Chia
Milwaukee
Snacks. What
Bucks
up?
again?
Milwaukee
The
Bucks,
Milwaukee Bucks,
baby.
baby.
Discuss.
I
So I'd
mean,
actually have to put Matthew Bobo XD on number 1 there if I could, just
What the
because
heck, Matt?
What the
I'm
heck?
sorry. I play with this guy. I seen this guy. This guy actually does not stop talking, and it's insane. Like with the vision, with the plays. Like if you look at his laning partner, how much he's been able to help him improve. I just feel like I've seen like so much from him. I was actually kind of surprised that Tactical Gazelle got second. So really good job on Nathan.
I mean, Nathan's been killing people a lot as a support, and that definitely does not go unnoticed uh, by the rest of the league. And I think Elena, particularly, I want to say like by week 3, she was starting to come online and become the force that we know she is. So it's hard to argue her, particularly when she. I think the particular order between Chia Snacks and Tactical Gazelle is like these two supports can actually win you a game straight up.
Right. I mean, I think, if we talked about like games that really left an imprint, I think Elena's game on Alistar versus NBS with Matthew Bobo XCXC himself. Um, yeah, I mean, Elena was monumental in that game with like 4-man queues from like out of vision. Um, and I think she was super critical in their late season surge. And in games like that, there's no other support that can just outright win you a game in one fell swoop. So um, for me, no surprise. This order's, really no surprise to me either. I think, and also one vote actually separated Tactical Gazelle and Matthew Bobo XCXD, so very close there too to another tie. Um,
Oh,
but yeah, pretty good seasons from all three of them. I think support was one of our strongest roles in general this season. So
Yeah, I
here are your
think
top three.
the only other support I would consider here would be Wired. Wired had a pretty solid numbers overall. Particularly, everybody remembers his Bard game. He had a couple of really influential Senna games, but the lack of wins, I think, did not seal the deal for me.
Yeah, Chase took that personally. All right, moving on. Next slide.
Done.
We're hitting it. MVP, rookie, and most improved player. Let's go. Third place MVP, please.
We got.
Drum roll. Do.
Oh,
NBS man.
yay.
Second place
yeah.
MVP, please. Do. MVP
It's the Milwaukee
Caribou.
Bucks.
Bucks baby.
Milwaukee Bucks,
And then first place
baby.
MVP, please. Do. AR Jack Limestone. Discuss.
Jack Limestone, just if you look at the stats, they explain themselves. Like, it's really hard to argue with player stats like this: the CPM leader, the team damage leader, the damage per minute leader, the kill participation leader. Like, he's doing everything.
Spoken from the KDA leader himself. Oh my god.
I really did like the choice for Caribou here because just to prove that I'm not an MVP hater. That guy has been,
Mhm.
like I said earlier, he's been playing really well this season. Like our game, he started off with double kill. In multiple games, he's had pop off after pop off play with Elena, and it's just been really sick to see.
Yeah, I mean, I think Man also has had a ridiculous season, and I feel like for me, these players are the ones that can shape games around them, and we saw it. We've seen MBB over and over again. We've seen AR over and over again with these people, and NBS with Man. When Man's going, it's insane.
All right, rookie. Let's go. Third place rookie, please.
We got.
Daddy, I'm close. I can't believe I just said that out loud. Second place rookie, please. Matthew, that guy. Yeah, and then first place, please. It's Tactical Gazelle. Hello. It's the same support order we saw in the 2 and 3 positions, plus another PO member. Let's get it. Hello. Discuss.
Hello.
So I actually would put Mina on number one there just because her gameplay was really insane this regular season. Even though Matt has been great, it brought a lot of intangible factors. Like I love seeing people just come out and strip carry games, and that Vayne game that she played into us was just like the hardest carry I've seen in a while. So like that one stuck out to me, and I thought that was definitely like rookie of the season for sure in my eyes.
Mina, you mean, wait, you're talking about Mina, like Daddy I'm
Yeah.
Close, like not top 3 in mid voting, right?
Oh yeah, that's up to
Interesting. All right. Well, don't worry. She also took that personally, I'm sure. Um, let's go. Most improved player.
We got.
Number 3. It's a tie. The Great Flash number 2 as well, I guess. Vid the Vid. And
Nice.
then number 1.
Oh wait.
Show me the money.
It's.
It's NVS Fire Night 19, baby.
Let's go.
Second
Let's
season in a
go.
row on the most improved list, except this time he's number 1.
Yo,
I want
that
to talk about this one before you guys hit this. The fact that season 5 champion, the Great Flash, is on most improved after destroying people in season 5 playoffs.
Like they didn't
Don't know
see it.
about that one,
They
friends. Yeah,
didn't
I guess they
know.
didn't see it.
They
They
didn't
didn't
know.
know.
Except
I
for
mean,
Matt.
let's give us a history lesson. Season 5 playoffs was the season of Panino Divino, and in the playoffs, Elena played out of her mind. But one of the most pivotal players in that team was also the Great Flash, who just kind of annihilated everybody to a championship. So, man, what's the phrase? Like these nephews don't even know. They don't even know. But
but
here we are, tied for second most improved player,
all
the
right.
Great Flash.
In defense of the people who did not watch that season, they saw Mayo start the season not finishing items.
Yeah. Well,
And
say
Can
hey.
confirm, as someone who started this season, seeing the beginning of the season Mayo towards the end of the season Mayo is a
like
very
within a season, it's very striking the improvements. Even though, yes, I did expect Mayo to be at the top tier where he is right now. So Mayo, no slacking into the off season. That's all I have to say for you.
Right, before we had Timmy T playoff Timmy T, we had playoff Mayo. And haters should be on notice because playoff Mayo is coming again. Winter is coming, and
The
it
Croc.
looks like a crocodile. And so I don't know. This is a really interesting vote, but here we are. Mayo, so improved. I'm so proud of you, Mayo. And then, of course, let's talk about the others. Vitamin, I think, has had a really good season, a really big uptick from last season. Um, a ton of games like the Vigar games, etc., where he's done a ton. And I think a lot of people when they think about TSC, they think about Plobe being really dominant in the top side. They think about Nick Mead on Zaya, but I think like Vitamin has played exceptionally well this season. I think the lanes across the board for TSC have led them to a 7-2 victory. So
Yeah.
or season. So I think Vid the Mid is really critical to that team. Has really stepped up.
I think Vid is the stability that TSC needs so that their two known carries can actually have their pop off games. But he's definitely had his own silent pop off in the corner.
Right. And then
And
Fire Knight 19 on the most improved list once again.
I
This
mean,
time he's number 1 though. He's
yeah,
the start of the season, Fire Knight did a really good job. He output damaged. Things have changed for NBS in the second half of the season, but I think Fire Knight 19 has really shown some tremendous growth. So
I
kudos
think
to him. Kudos to Matthew Bobo XD for guiding him out.
yeah, I think for me
Yay.
what really sold Zane was getting to play some games after a couple weeks into the season, and just his natural response to playing what just shocked me of how much it had changed to the better. Guy's nuts now.
Awesome. All right, and those are our awards. I'm gonna quote Twitch TV Caribou. This is just 15 minutes of Brian shitting on voters. Oh, you don't even know. DM me for the real shitting on voters
Oh
monologue,
no.
if you would. But anyways, thank you guys for a great regular season. Thank you for whoever voted for awards. Almost everybody did, and some of the people that didn't couldn't have, like Barry Allen, chilling, drinking a martini in Cabo right now. The dream. Do we have a schedule, Doc? I don't think anybody's scheduled,
No,
so
everything's
I think that's it.
TBD.
Awesome. So I think that's it. Looking forward to playoffs once again. Best of threes across the board. The storylines they'll build themselves. Maybe we'll have another deep dive miracle run. Maybe MBB crashes the upper bracket. Tons of things can happen, but stay tuned to the rest of the season
Hey, we might
of
have the
BTL.
repeat of teams that drop down the to the lower bracket just flame out and get destroyed.
Oh.
Ooh, it might happen. Don't be that team. We saw it last season. Don't want to see it again. And then yeah, thank you, Mr. Walker, Rito Burrito. I forgot your name already. Goo three,
F3.
Roo three, fucking I don't, whatever. Goose. Yeah. Thank you for your time. Thank you
Thank
for
you
your
for
face
having me.
cam. Thank you for all your swag in the background. Just thank you for being yourself, Walker.
Thank
That's what
you.
we all love
Thank you.
about you. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you to everybody else that's watching our broadcast.
All
We'll see
34
you
people.
in playoffs. All 34. That's a lot of people.
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you to
Get those
everybody.
playoffs, man.
People are excited
Playoffs.
for good reasons.
Yeah. Oh man. Last time we had the BTL hype video. We gotta set plans for one. Maybe we'll do an off-season video just to prep for season 8. It'll be great.
We'll have a soft type.
Soft hype.
Soft type.
All right. Goodbye. Peace out.
Goodbye.
Um,